Coming up on News 2, a 17-year veteran VIPD officer claims that some officials have abused their power. He is suing the Croix Police Chief, 3 officers, the VI government, and 2 assistant attorney generals for defamation, among other charges. Details. A status report was delivered about downtown Charlotte Amalie's revitalization efforts at the Senate. Plus, in honor of International Women's Month and National Women's History Month, a number of women are being recognized. Hello, welcome, and thanks for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. A Croix police officer is suing the VI government and fellow officers over what he says was a wrongful arrest. Attorney Key Walker filed a complaint in district court Tuesday on behalf of VI police officer Anderson Polion and his wife Beatrice, who say their lives have been changed for the worse since Polion's arrest last year. News 2's Erica Parsons has that story.
The charges leveled here in this complaint detail a very deep conspiracy. If what is said here is true, it points the finger at several police officers, a police chief, and 2 assistant attorney generals. In a 36-page complaint, legal counsel for Anderson Polion and his wife lists numerous allegations against the VI government, St. Croix Police Chief Christopher Howell, retired police officer Stephen Brown, police officers Arthur Joseph and Frankie Ortiz, Ortiz's wife, Assistant Attorney General Melissa Ortiz, and another Assistant AG, Warren Cedar. Polion is suing for damages stemming from what the complaint says was his wrongful arrest last July for removing a vehicle from police custody that was involved in a 2009 vehicular homicide. Polion says he rightfully acquired the vehicle and sold it immediately to another officer who was the one who removed the vehicle from the police impound. According to the complaint, counsel for the defense in that case requested permission to inspect the vehicle, and when it was discovered that the vehicle was gone, the case was thrown out for failure to preserve evidence. The complaint lists each defendant's part in the alleged conspiracy to take Polion down, which also says that Chief Howell has targeted Polion for some years and retaliated against Polion for doing the right thing. Polion says his arrest and humiliation has caused him and his wife sleepless nights and that they are now on medication for it. The suit is asking for damages for civil rights violations, defamation, false arrest, abuse of process, malicious prosecution, false imprisonment, and several other charges. Erica Parsons, News 2.
Officer Polion says none of the officers ever read him his Miranda rights before he was arrested. Polion has been on administrative leave since he was arrested last July. Governor John DeYoung has directed that all flags on all Virgin Islands public buildings be flown at half-staff after news of the passing of former Virgin Islands Governor John D. Murren. The 91-year-old died peacefully Monday at his home in Ohio. He was appointed governor by President Dwight D. Eisenhower and sworn in as the territory's chief executive in 1958. Merwin broke ground as the first native-born Virgin Islander to hold the highest position in the territory's government. Merwin, who came from a prominent St. Croix family, had previously served in the Virgin Islands legislature and as government secretary, a post equivalent to lieutenant governor. Commissioner Albert Bryan Jr. announces that customers receiving federal extended unemployment compensation, or EUC, will soon see a reduction in their weekly benefits. The Virgin Islands Department of Labor was notified by the U.S. Department of Labor to implement a 10.7% reduction in EUC benefits effective March 31st. Individuals receiving regular unemployment benefits will not be affected. The department will host an EUC forum and extended office hours at the St. Thomas and St. Croix locations on Wednesday, March 27 from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. for all EUC recipients who may need to speak to a representative. The Senate's Committee on Culture, Historic Preservation, Youth and Recreation met Wednesday. The hearing covered updates on downtown Charlotte Amalie's construction projects as well as concerns about them affecting Carnival. News 2's Erica Bivens has more.
A revitalization hearing was held at the Senate today. The purpose was to get updates on the downtown projects and if Carnival would be affected.
Are you continuing to work through Carnival, or you're going to be interrupted, particularly at the Market Square?
We won't be doing anything that will disrupt Carnival.
Beginning with Market Square, WAPA's director Hugo Hodge explained they're about 90% complete with a water project.
The work entails the installation of 650 linear feet of 12-inch PVC pipe to replace the existing aging iron lines. As with Strand Street, this new pipe will provide a more efficient flow of water to WAPA's customers in the area, mitigate potential water losses caused by leaks, and provide additional cost savings by mitigating expensive maintenance.
On the electrical side, Hodge says they estimate a completion date of May 15th.
The Market Square project involves a relocation of overhead electrical distribution lines into underground conduits. This effort will result in the installation of new service riser poles, new pad-mounted transformers, and other new equipment necessary to operate the electrical system.
In regards to the Main Street project, many senators asked about the timing. However, Hodge says because most of it's federally funded, they were restricted to a June completion date.
Nearly 90% of the work on Gov't is now complete, and all work related to the excavation and electrical infrastructure installations in Hibiscus Alley and at the post office is now complete. Today, the work necessary to install the termination of high voltage cables from Belgium Road to Sotiva Gata is nearly 80% complete.
Hodge says the Main Street project is 70% complete and they'll meet their June deadline. For News 2, I'm Erica Bivens.
Now, testimony continued through the afternoon on the town's blueprints, preservation committees, and several downtown organizations. Public Works Commissioner Darrell Smalls also testified at the Senate late afternoon on the Charlotte Amalie revitalization projects. Smalls indicated their projects would also not affect Carnival. In regards to the Market Square project, Smalls said the archaeological discovery has been halted until after Carnival. Likewise, their Main Street enhancement project will commence after WAPA's work is completed in June. Public Works will then tear up Main Street piecemeal, starting at the Enid Baugh Library, working east to the post office, rebuilding roads, sidewalks, and installing new sewer lines. Smalls gave some details on the revitalization plans, which includes a new parking structure in the Fort Christian lot.
These components include parking improvements, the reconstruction of both the Market Square and Main Street, and the Waterfront Safety and Beautification Project, commonly known as Veterans Drive.
Well, there will be some road closures this week because of the work Waste Management is continuing on the LBJ sewer line rehabilitation project. Starting at 7 Wednesday night, Northside Road will be closed to all traffic on St. Croix. That's in front of the LBJ Housing's eastern entrance between Juanita Gardine and the intersection of Northside Road. Thursday night, starting at 7 Centerline Road, will be reduced to one lane, except for 20 minutes when it will be closed to install the bypass piping. Queen Mary Highway will be reduced to one lane Friday night, beginning at 7. The road will reopen at 5 a.m. Senate President Sean Michael Malone has asked officials in Alaska to transfer a state-of-the-art passenger and car ferry to the U.S. Virgin Islands. The $78 million vessel is up for grabs to any government entity in the U.S. that can use it. The vessel can carry 120 passengers and 20 cars. Malone says it would be perfect for the VI since we're in the process of looking for a new ferry to take over the St. Thomas-St. Croix route. That ferry service was discontinued after it ran aground in July 2011. Other cities are also interested in the Alaskan vessel. Well, Democrats say they plan to bring a gun control bill to the Senate floor next month, but the legislation will be without a key measure that the president and many lawmakers wanted. Susan McGinnis has the latest from Washington.
A ban on assault weapons will not be part of the Democrats' gun control bill. Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid says the ban doesn't have enough votes to get through Congress.
And I'm not going to try to put something on the floor that won't succeed. I want something that will succeed.
Democrats started pushing for an assault weapons ban after the elementary school shooting in Newtown, Connecticut.
I've looked at bodies that have been shot with these weapons.
Senator Dianne Feinstein, who led the effort, says she's disappointed. I tried my best, but my best, I guess, wasn't good enough, she said. A ban on assault weapons could be voted on as a separate amendment next month, but there is very little chance it will pass. The National Rifle Association campaigned against a ban, and many Republican lawmakers also opposed it.
Why would we want to make an otherwise law-abiding citizen into a criminal if they want to use these weapons to defend themselves and their families.
Democrats want to bring a gun control bill to the Senate floor next month, but it's not clear what will be in it. Measures like stiffer penalties for gun trafficking and more money to improve school safety appear to have bipartisan votes. But a proposal to expand background checks for firearm sales is struggling to gain support. Susan McGinnis, CBS News, Washington.
The Senate may also hold a separate vote on an amendment to ban high-capacity magazines. Many Democrats believe that measure has a better chance of passing than the assault weapons ban. Well, keeping our eye on the economy, FedEx says profits plunged 31% last quarter as customers chose less expensive international shipping options. The Federal Reserve says the U.S. economy has improved, but it still needs the Fed's support. The central bank says it's standing by its plan to keep interest rates at record lows at least until the unemployment falls at 6 to 5%. This is the New York Stock Exchange, the Scotiabank Stock Market Watch. Everything up: the Dow 55, Nasdaq 25, S&P 10. Coming up on News 2, your pennies count. The VI Volunteer Advocates for Children, formerly CASA VI, is hosting their annual Pennies from Heaven Drive Saturday. Plus,
a new study suggests autism is more prevalent than previously reported. I'm Marley Hall in New York with the details coming up.
well, in honor of International Women's Month and National Women's History Month, a number of women are being honored by the Virgin Islands Lottery on a series of commemorative tickets that are currently on sale throughout the Virgin Islands. The influential Virgin Islands women are featured on the Women Making a Difference series for the March 26th lottery drawing. The series of commemorative tickets is being released to celebrate the contributions of Virgin Islands women to society and to celebrate women's economic, social, cultural, and political progress. Some of the women include First Lady Cecile DeYoung, Dee Baisha Brown, Cheryl Boynes-Jackson, Dilsa Capdeville, Donna Christensen, and Sean Pennington, just to name a few. The VI Volunteer Advocates for Children, formerly CASA VI, is hosting their annual Pennies from Heaven Drive Saturday. It's the 10th year the group is asking the community to stop by one of their 4 drop-off locations to donate their loose change to support their work with abused and neglected children. They'll be at Sunny Isle from 10 to 3 and the other 3 locations from 9 to 2.
We'll be at Sunny Isle by the amphitheater from 11 to 3, and that's where we have activities going on. Sunny Isle's doing their Easter promotion, so they'll have the Easter Bunny, but we'll also have face painting and some kids' crafts, and there will be balloons, etc. So if you have kids, that's the place to come. If you want to avoid all of that, we'll also be in front of Costuless, Gallows Bay Hardware, and Kmart West. If they only have a penny to donate, we're happy with their penny. If they can put more in, we're happy for that as well. And the idea being that if everyone drops something into the community pot, it really adds up, and it is substantial and will help us keep our doors open and continue serving the children that we serve.
The St. Croix Food and Wine Experience, scheduled for the week of April 14th, is quickly approaching. One of the most anticipated events during that week is the Taste of St. Croix. Tickets for the Taste go on sale this Saturday, March 23rd from 10 a.m. at the Innovative Business Center on St. Croix and at Urban Threads on St. Thomas. Tickets will also be available for purchase online Saturday at the website at stcroixfoodandwine.com. Tickets for all the other events are already available online. 7 faith communities of actors, singers, and dancers have joined together to revisit the biblical story of Lazarus and his sisters Mary and Martha. Out of Darkness, the 4th in a series of gospel dramas written and produced by Virgin Islands playwright Jessica C. Henderson, was enacted in the light of Caribbean values and adapted to Caribbean sensibility using Caribbean language. These colorful additions bring light to the story, making it relatable to those in attendance. Out of Darkness will be presented for 3 nights only on Friday and Saturday, March 22nd and 23rd at 7 p.m. and on Sunday, March 24th at 6 p.m. at the Prior Julek Hall at Antilles School. And it is free. A new government report should suggest the number of children with autism in the U.S. is underestimated. Into Your Health, Marley Hall has more from the findings from New York.
12-year-old Dimitri Rivera has autism. His mother saw signs when he was just 2 years old.
He stopped talking. At first he was saying mama and dada, looking at us, playing with us. And then slowly we started seeing that he wasn't really playing with his brother as much. He wasn't giving us eye contact.
A new survey from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention shows 1 in 50 school-age children has autism, a figure that is much higher than a recent government estimate of 1 in 88 children. The new numbers are based on data from a national phone survey of more than 95,000 parents.
This study is clearly showing us that we're still underestimating the prevalence of autism here in the United States.
Health experts say the new estimate doesn't necessarily mean autism is on the rise, but suggests that doctors are diagnosing the disorder more often, especially in older children with milder cases.
While this study is showing us that prevalence is increasing in part because we're getting better at identifying cases, the cases are still being identified too late.
Experts say if you have any concerns about your child's development, talk to your pediatrician because early intervention is key.
Don't push it aside, because the earlier that you can get the help, the better off your child's gonna be.
Dimitri's mom says he's talking more thanks to early speech and behavior therapy.
Thank you. Thank you.
And he's socializing more too. Marley Hall for CBS News, New York.
And before we move on, just a reminder, there will be a change in daytime programming this week due to the 2013 NCAA Basketball Championships that will be aired here on CBS TV2 starting at 7 p.m. Therefore, on Thursday and Friday, News 2 will not be aired at its regularly scheduled times. Also, Thursday and Friday of next week. We'll be back on air on Monday with our regular scheduled programming. Join us for all the latest news. Again, no newscast on Thursday, March 21st and Friday, March 22nd, and the following week, Thursday, March 28th and Friday, March 29th. And speaking of sports, it's coming your way next.